So when the car pulls up, I'm like, oh, I'm getting in the front seat with the driver. At least there's a picture, I can match his face. Yeah. So I was terrified, like I did not want to sit by him.
So you sat in the front, and how did you make your move without being creepy?
I'm about to say, I was already offended because I was like, I'm not a serial killer. I got in the back seat. But actually, the Uber driver introduced us. He was like, hey, you know, Lester, this is Jenisa. Jenisa, this is Lester. So I was like, okay, there's my introduction right there. She kind of just glanced at me slightly, gave a wave, and then kept looking forward. So she kind of shaded me a little.
So what broke the ice?
Just me asking questions, really. I just had to really keep probing.
It was the Uber driver. He's giving himself too much credit.
Oh, you're giving so the Uber driver played matchmaker?
He did. He was like, Jenise, this is Lester.
Yeah.
He's here for his friend's birthday, just kind of making conversation. Then I was the first stop. And he's like, you guys should exchange numbers. And so we did.
Yeah.
Did he know you were both single?
No. He never asked or anything.
He never asked.
The shady Uber driver breaking up homes in case you were married. But you happen to both be single, but you were in LA, right? And you live in different states. At the time you were living in
Atlanta.
In Atlanta.
I was living in Detroit at the time.
Well, that's complicated. So that's a long distance, but you still take your shot and call.
Oh, you always take the shots, yeah.
Well, when she's
Absolutely.
How did you turn this long distance into the relationship you wanted?
So we were FaceTiming on and off, and then he drove through a blizzard from Chicago to Atlanta to meet my family for Christmas.
How soon after the Uber? That's amazing. How soon after the Uber ride did this turn into something that you knew was special?
Probably like 5 months.
Yeah, about 5 months, I think.
So $5 Uber ride, 5 months later, and he was ready to put a ring on it.
A year later.
A year later,
He
I proposed.
proposed.
Yeah, but you had to have known something in 5 minutes, five months.
I knew after she stood me up for the third time. Yeah.
What?
And I kept pursuing. That's how I
Oh, so over the 5 months, you stood him up?
No, in LA, I stood him up twice until he invited me for food. And then we met face to face in daytime in person.
Well, that's the safe thing
Yeah,
to do.
see?
So you got married last May. Your baby
is doing
April.
Yes.
This is the wedding.
Yes.
That is stunning.
Thank you.
I mean, did you ever imagine that this is how you would meet your husband? Not in an Uber, but so randomly, I guess.
Never. And I definitely wasn't looking for love at all, so it was very...
So you were fine. I'm single, I'm fine,
I was
cool.
living my best life.
Oh. Not as good as this,
Right.
but it was good. Lester, were you looking for love at that time?
No, I was just open. I was just there having fun. And then, sure enough, I actually bragged to my brother and my best friend, like, oh, I met this girl in the Uber. Here go her pictures. And they're like, Uber? You meeting girls in Ubers? They kind of shot it down a little bit. And then, little do you know, we married now.
For the record, we tried to find this matchmaking Uber driver, because apparently he's a TV show in him somewhere. We couldn't find the Uber driver. What would you say to him now if he were, happened to be watching this? Oh, I remember them.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely thank you. I mean, it's definitely a blessing that it all happened the way it did. But we actually reached out, tried to invite him to the wedding just because he kind of initiated everything as well.
And I'm definitely very, to myself, so shy. So without him, I probably would have never spoken to him.
So for those people out there who are single and they're like, okay, I've given up. I've done dating apps. I've done this, that. What's your advice? Was it an openness in your heart that made this happen?
An openness and just being patient. Because we definitely had moments where it was like kind of a tug of war, like not really interested, okay, like a kind of a chase thing. Definitely be patient, just open to finding love anywhere.
Open to finding love anywhere. What a sweet story. Well, congratulations. You're due in April. My son was due in April. He's born. He's actually out now. Yeah, that is so awesome. Well, congratulations.